I was in Lebanon. I remember as I was waiting on that boat that was literally being rocked on shore, so severely was it being rocked that people who'd come to meet the boat said they could not look at it anymore, for they were getting sick just watching it. Everybody had been let off except myself. I was surrounded by half a dozen Lebanese guards with their machine guns pointed in my direction. Not a very happy feeling. And I was being quizzed by the chief of security. Why are you here, Reverend Zacharias? Who invited you here, Reverend Zacharias? And going on and on, apparently unwilling to believe that I had no ulterior motive, that the only reason I was there was to preach the gospel under the invitation of a couple of groups of people there. And finally, after that hard, rigorous grilling that literally had my palms perspiring and my heart pounding quite hardly, at one point I said to him, look, why don't you just leave me on this boat? And this goes back to Cyprus tonight. I'll just go back. I'm sorry I came here. I was told there was a visa waiting for me. Evidently there is no visa. Why don't you just leave me here? I'll go back. He says, no, you get off the boat and come with me to police headquarters. I was imagining myself sitting in some Lebanese jail for a few years, nobody knowing where I was. We get off. He dismisses 5 of them, just takes 1. The one man sits in the front seat. The driver is driving in this military jeep, and this chief of security is sitting next to me. A completely relaxed expression on his face descends, and he looks at me and he says, Reverend, are you evangelical? I said, yes. He says, me too. Now you're telling me that's accidental? Do you know when I was leaving Lebanon a few days later, he saw me standing in that long line waiting to get onto the boat. He came over, took my passport and says, you're too busy a man to waste your time standing here in this long line. I don't know what I was going to do getting onto the boat, waiting for the long line to end. But he says to me, why don't you just go into your cabin? I'll have one assigned. Sit down there and relax. I'll have your passport sent to you. Please come back to my country anytime. The sovereignty of God. The sovereignty of God